Ooh, I can't take this anymore. I need sound in my car. This thing is way too quiet for what's supposed to be a performance model. Well, okay, it's not a performance model, it's a sporty model, and actually it does make some sound. It's not like the exhaust side of things is completely quiet. I do want more volume. I don't get it. And sadly, you just don't get volume with the factory exhaust setup on this car, which is just mainly this big honking muffler. The crazy part is the muffler actually sounds really good. Like, it's the note that this car makes is really good. I just wish I could get that same note but louder, but I don't really think that's super possible. The best thing I think I can do to get something similar and to get more volume, at least enough volume to make me happy-ish, is to get rid of said muffler. And thankfully, it isn't too hard on this car, as right there is just bolted to the rest of the existing piping, and it just comes down to the muffler. So the muffler just comes off with 2 bolts and a couple hangers, and that is it, and then we'll have some sound. Of course, we can't leave it that way. I'm going to have to fab up something here to make it from that pipe to, well, you know, here. So that's what we're gonna work on in today's video. Alright, so got the car backed up here because I think I should be able to crawl under here, because the way the driveway is, it kind of like is elevated upwards. So it actually gives me a lot of space by just having the car parked right here in the end. It'll save me the hassle of having to get it up on ramps and such. Yeah, this ain't too bad. I can get right to where I need to be. This worked out a little bit better than I was expecting. You never know. So even though this muffler actually sounds good, like, it almost gives this car a like straight 6 exhaust note. It's a very good sounding 4-cylinder as it is. It's just, I need more sound. But 4-cylinders can also sound terrible. So I'm hoping that by removing this, I make it sound awesome and not like, yeah, we don't want that. You know, since this is a dual clutch, it does cut ignition on shifts, and you get the, you know, DCT farts between the shifts. So kind of want to keep that to a minimum too, because I'm not a super big fan of that sound. So enough of that. I guess I need to figure out what size. Oh, they're big ones. All right, I need to go get some tools. That's a unique sound. It's very smooth sounding. I am really surprised that it sounds that good. Considering all things. I don't know why though, like smaller turbo 4-cylinders, they're more burbly. I don't know why that is, but have you ever noticed that? Like, all these small turbo engines under 2 liters are very burbly. And it seems like the smaller they get, the more burbly they get. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't mind the burbles so much. So I think we're on the right track in not having a lot of those frequencies muffled. Of course, the exhaust is being dumped right under the car. It seems like a lot of that exhaust frequencies, vibrations, are making their way into the car now, which is a good thing, because I like feeling the car. This muffler did an excellent job at just doing that, muffling the sound. Even though that was a pain, the easy part's done. Now the hard part. What I got to do now is basically from the flange here, I'm gonna have to recreate a pipe that follows this pattern. It's gotta come here, it's like a 45 straight, and then it's gotta do a 90 and a couple 90 here, and yeah, I don't know, I'll figure it out. Sadly, I don't think I have all of what I need to do this. I bought this, one of these flexible pipes. I know what you're thinking. Trust me, I know what you're thinking. This is not, or would not be, a permanent solution, but temporary. But I can already see that one pipe, which is 18 inches long, is only going to get me basically this section here from the pipe that's already in the car, the mid pipe, to the muffler. So let's see, you get here, give her a nice bend here. Yeah, there we go. I got a long way to go here. And I really wanted to minimize my, what do you call it? My seams in this. I will be doing some welding, trying to, at least on this stuff. I need to sit here a minute and think about this so I can get some extra parts. So I got the exhaust kind of in place enough. I gotta go to the parts store and get some extra pieces, but at least I get to hear the car, at least what it sounds like the way it is. I'm sure adding a tip isn't going to change the sound all that much, but you never know. But I mean, realistically, I can't drive around like this. Even if I wanted to, I could. Yeah, that sounds good. See, this engine is so smooth for a 4-cylinder, and the idle note, it sounds like a 6. It sounds like a 6-cylinder. It is crazy. Now, I did kind of review the footage and just listened back through the GoPro. Not the best way I could listen to the car, but it did sound a bit higher pitched when you're hearing it from the rear of the car. Inside the car, it doesn't sound too bad. You can definitely tell it's a 4-cylinder. As it revs up, you can hear the higher pitched sound, you know. You know, I'm gonna have to play around with it, but just to get a little extra sound in it for now, this will work. Hopefully everything stays put to get to the store and back. It sounds good, but it almost, because you're removing the muffler and it's just going nowhere. See, I think it'll be better once I get the tip on and it exits out the rear of the car, because it just sounds like it has an exhaust leak now, and that's a problem. It doesn't sound the greatest, but it doesn't sound the worst. Oddly enough, I've mentioned a Toyota Camry I used to drive a few times, and when I was really young and dumb and I got that car, what I did is I put I had a family member help me weld in a wide pipe, or a cutout. It was an exhaust cutout right before the rear muffler. It kind of sounds like this because it was almost in the same area too, kind of like just by the rear tires where the cutout was, and it dumped to underneath the car. And at low RPMs, they sound very, very similar, but once the V6 spun up, it sounded pretty good. I could actually hear it now. Oh man, I can tell this would probably drone like hell like it is. It probably won't be so bad once you get the exhaust pointed out the back. But I can tell there's an engine there now. That's cool. It's doing a little bit of pops and stuff on D-cell. And this is just normal driving. Let me put her in sport mode here. Uh-huh. I think all the vibrations, because the exhaust is right under back of the car, I think a lot of that will be alleviated once I get it going where it needs to be. Because honestly, if this is how it will be with the muffler delete at the back, I don't know if I'll keep it, because as much as I like sound, it almost makes it feel like something is wrong, and well, I don't want that. But at least for now, I have a little bit of fun, so that's cool. Oh, it did the dual clutch fart. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna get to the parts store, get what I need, get back, so hopefully I can fix this. Get this done semi-correct. Get it done the Karz Kreated way. So I'm back from the parts store. I grabbed a couple things I thought I would need. Not sure if it was gonna work. So let me show you what I got going on here. I ended up getting this piece off eBay. There's actually another side to it that is actually on the car currently. That way this would allow me to use this back flange like that. It actually worked out really well. Sometimes with these pieces like this, you know, you never know exactly what you're gonna get. I gotta say, man, this thing is super nice quality. Look at them welds, and they're backfilled all the way on the inside. This is a super nice piece. It wasn't even that expensive because there's a whole nother side to this that I will have if I need it. That was definitely a good buy from eBay. I'm really happy with this. So that does take up a little bit of space here. And then I have my flex pipe, and then I end up buying a 45 and a 90, and that pretty much gets me really, really close. And that's will allow me to use a hanger here. I'll use another hanger here to hold that up. And this gets me really, really close. And then I have the tips. And I think this actually might work out well. I think this tip's gonna look really nice too. Oh yeah. Sometimes you get some good stuff on eBay and sometimes not so much. This piece was not made with the same amount of care as those other pieces. But that's alright, it'll work for now. That should be the right length from there, because it technically is a bolts on. Oop. But because of how I had to do this, I might actually weld it on, because it will stick right into the end of that pipe there. Oh my god, that pretty much works. That's nuts. I don't ever get this lucky. What's the catch? Something's got to go wrong somewhere. Either I'm getting better at doing this, or universe throwing me a bone for once. But I want to see what this tip looks like. Just gonna hold it up here. Oh yeah, that's gonna look nice. That's gonna look real nice. Okie dokie, wheel. I guess the first thing I need to do, test fit all of this and make sure that this shape actually works. Before I get ahead of myself, I'm gonna go ahead and just take this and kind of just lay it under there and see how everything's looking. That ain't looking too bad. It's definitely going in the right direction, and for the most part, that's the important part. Let me give myself a minute so I can work on this and you know, pay attention to it. Hopefully, this will be done for now.
Many hours later.
Wow, these projects take a lot longer than they used to. Ooh. Well, anyway, it is the next day, and as you can see, I pretty much have this done. Now, it's not done yet. As you can see, my welds are curing. No, that's not JB Weld. I know it looks a lot like JB Weld, but it's not JB Weld. So even though my welding skills have gotten better over the years, they're still not great. A lot of these pieces that were slip fit, I could weld up pretty good. This piece here was the same size, so it was like end to end, and so was this piece. And I suck at welding, and I don't even think a flux core welder is the proper type of welder you would use for that. You know, usually that kind of welding is TIG, just because you have to be so delicate. And yeah, anyway, it's there. The tip did get beat up a little bit. That's fine, I can paint it. I didn't like it anyway, it was ugly. So I'll paint it black again. The whole thing is getting painted black, mainly for this pipe here, and I'm gonna try my best. Paint down in the inside of that thing. That's because these flex pipes are notorious for rusting out real quick, even though it says stainless steel. I don't mean nothing. So coming over here to our paint booth, so I'm just gonna try to just jam paint down in there the best I can to kind of fill in all those grooves so it don't rot out. And that's the thing, is they don't really rot out from the outside in, they rot out from the inside out, because condensation in the exhaust builds up and rots out through these very thin little connections for the flex piece. Get that coated with something, it should last a little longer. I don't even know if I'll like this on the car, so anything is just a proof of concept. I can always take it to someone and say, hey, make this for me, please. Sure, that'll be $5,000. Go fondle yourself. No, it should be less because they don't even have to do any work in terms of measuring. All they have to do is just copy. Copy the bends, copy the length. It wouldn't be as much if I went there and said, hey, just make this from nothing. I'm trying to think what paint I want to use. I think for this application, the only thing I have is this high heat. This is high heat. Probably the best thing I can use given the application. Let's see here. There we go. Probably do just a couple coats. I don't think I need to go too far. And then I'll just do the outside and we should be good. So let's go ahead and check on our piece. Paint should definitely be dry by now. And we can move on to the last step. Oh yeah. Yeah, we looking a whole lot better than we were. The tip looks, yeah, that looks a hell of a lot better. So the last thing I want to do is wrap it with some exhaust wrap. Now, for two reasons. Reason one, if any of my beautiful welds happen to break, at least this will keep everything together so it doesn't just fall off in the middle of the road or just dangle in the car and make an unsafe situation. Also, wrapping it with this will kind of like deaden the metal a little bit, so maybe helps control some of that higher pitched rasp, at least with how it is now. So maybe by doing that, that will control some of that, so it won't sound as raspy or tinny. So hopefully that will work there. And yeah, let's get to wrapping. Painting it was putting lipstick on a pig. This is how you polish a turd. All right, well, that definitely looks a hell of a lot better. Got a little things to button up here still. It'd be a real shame if I do all this work and it don't fit, or it don't fit right. And then I might just have to do something crazy. But there's only one way to find out. Now, before I put that pipe on, I wanted to weigh the muffler here and see how much this weighs, because this thing's got some heft to it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this weighs like, oh, I don't know, 40 some pounds. So let's see here. All right, and 26 pounds. 25. So 25 pounds for the stock muffler. It definitely weighs more than 25 pounds. Maybe I'm just weak, I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking it's like 40 pounds. I can tell this is a hell of a lot lighter. If that's 25 pounds, this is less than 10 pounds for sure. All right, let's see, let's get it on there. Oh yeah, that's a nice big difference right there. Easy weight reduction. Moment of truth. We're gonna go ahead and try to slap this on here. Hopefully it works. Okay, all right, so it's not perfect, but it's holding it up where I don't need it to be. It's looking good. Now let's see where that tip is. Oh, okay, well, if anything, it's just a little back too far. I thought this tip would take up more space here too, which it isn't. But see, that's my worry, is how that can just fall down like that. I'm not sure what I can do to keep that up. I need to take a minute here and figure out my course of action and see what I want to do about this. Okay, so I've come to a conclusion that using that flexible pipe, while albeit it made part of it simple, that's my problem. It's flexing right there, which is allowing this to bend up and down. So yeah, that's obviously not going to work. And the tip's not coming out in the right angle. The tip's not even big enough. I thought that would be big enough, but it is not. So before I throw in the towel, I want to at least see what it sounds like. Maybe it did muffle it down a little bit and made it sound a little bit better. What the hell? Oh, that actually kind of sounds good. wow, okay. Let me give it a couple of revs. Let's see how it sounds. That actually doesn't sound too bad. Sadly, due to the, you know, nature of this muffler delete, I'm not gonna be able to keep it on the car. I'm gonna have to put the muffler, stock muffler, back on. I guess I'm just gonna have to take this piece to someone and say, hey, make this, but better. And I need a bigger tip because that one ain't doing what I thought it was gonna do. You win some, you lose some, you know how it goes. We always live and learn. I learned that I can't do exhaust work. I wish I had money like a lot of other YouTubers and paid someone else to do all this stuff. But then how do you learn? You don't. Whatever, is what it is. Stock muffler will be going back on in the morning because I cannot drive around like that. Hey, look, at least this kept me busy. I got a video out of it. Now I know what the car will sound like with a muffler delete. I just gotta have it done properly. So until that video, it's gonna wrap it up here for this video. Hopefully you did like the video. And if you did, give it a thumbs up, share with everyone you know. If you want to see more content like this and you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Keep a lookout for the next Karz Kreated video.